Oh, hello everyone. It's me, Miss Thibodeau.
Just kidding. It's Mr. Athide. But I certainly tricked you all. We are going to look at this last example. I'm going to read it out. I know you're all literate, but I'm going to go through it. And then we'll tackle the results of it right over here. Ahem. The Wellington family went out to dinner yesterday. Tim, Marilyn, Heather, Brittany, and Stephanie each ordered a different main course. Ham, chicken, pork, salmon, and steak were the only main courses on the menu. Each family member also ordered a baked potato, salad, and a different vegetable. The 5 veggies on the menu were carrots, corn, peas, broccoli, and beans. Use the info below to determine what main course and what veggie each family member had. I like puzzles like these. Let's see how it goes. First thing we're told, the person who had steak and corn sat on the left of Tim and on the right of Stephanie. Okay. That first tells me that Tim and Stephanie did not have steak and corn. So I'm going to eliminate them from that. So Tim, no steak. And Tim, no corn. Same. Stephanie did not have steak and did not have corn. This also tells us that the steak and corn went together. So I'm just going to check off the fact that steak does go with corn. Sweet. Because of that check mark, I can do some eliminations. Steak can't go with any of the other vegetables because it does go with corn specifically. And corn can't go with any of the other meats here because it specifically goes with steak. Cool. The person who had chicken doesn't play tennis. Okay. But the person who had ham, the person who had broccoli, and Heather played doubles tennis yesterday with Stephanie. So there were 4 people playing tennis. Heather, Stephanie, the person who had ham, and the person who had broccoli. So what can I get from that? First of all, Heather and Stephanie were not the ones who had ham nor broccoli. Heather, no ham for you, and you also don't get broccoli. Stephanie, no ham for you, and also no broccoli. Hang on, chicken was referenced here though. The person who had chicken doesn't play tennis. And clearly, Heather and Stephanie play tennis. So Heather and Stephanie also didn't have chicken. Heather didn't have chicken. Stephanie didn't have chicken. And something else here. Ham person is different from broccoli person. Oh man, we got a ton from here. Hang on. Ham person is different from broccoli person. So we can make an elimination there. Ham does not go with broccoli. Okay. And the person who had broccoli played tennis, but the person who had chicken doesn't play tennis. So chicken does not go with broccoli. Oh man, we're filling this thing way out. The person who had broccoli did not have it with pork. Broccoli and pork are not a combo. Oh, check it out. Broccoli must have gone with salmon. Which also means that salmon did not go with anything else. Cool. Person who had broccoli did not have it with pork. Brittany did not order pork either. Brittany, you did not have pork. And this either, there's this one person, and then there's also Brittany. So Brittany also did not have broccoli. The other person did. Brittany, no broccoli. Okay. The person who had ham recently saw Tim, so Tim did not have ham. The person who had broccoli helped Tim wrap a present for Tim's father, so Tim also did not have broccoli. And hello, Marilyn, you had broccoli, which is a delicious and nutritious vegetable. So we get a bunch of eliminations from there. Wasn't there something else about broccoli earlier? First of all, broccoli does not go with pork. The person who had broccoli did not have it with pork. So Marilyn, having had broccoli, did not have pork. Okay, that's a highlighter. That's a pen. And the person who had ham and the person who had broccoli are separate people. So Marilyn did not have ham either. Which means ham was eaten by Brittany. Which also means that Brittany did not have chicken and did not have salmon and did not have steak. This is pretty promising. Well, let's just look at the last clue. We see that Marilyn and Stephanie's veggies begin with the same letter. Marilyn's begins with B. The only other option for B is beans, because carrots and corn start with the same letter. Peas also exist, and then broccoli and beans. So, Marilyn's and Stephanie's begin with the same letter. Marilyn's start with B. Stephanie's starts with B. Stephanie had herself some beans, which means no one else had beans. It also means that Stephanie didn't have the other veggie tables. Marilyn and Stephanie's veggies begin with the same letter, as do the vegetables of Tim and Heather. So Tim and Heather must have had the carrots and corn because nothing else starts with P. Okay. So Tim didn't have peas, and Heather didn't have peas. So Brittany had peas, and we've got this last one for the veggies, or for Tim. Tim must have had carrots. With what that eliminates for us, that leaves Heather as being the one who had corn. Neat. I think there's some pairings we can go through here. Just noting here that Brittany had ham and peas, so ham and peas go together. And I can fill in that check mark. The ham goes with peas. And the rest of that column is all gone. Any other pairings that happened? Not that I'm seeing. Anything else that I missed there? Mysteries of our time. Now what? We gotta figure out some of these other meal items here. Steak went with corn. Right here. Steak and corn go together. Corn was had by Heather, so Heather had steak. Okay. Which means that Heather did not have pork and did not have salmon. Also means that Marilyn did not have steak. What else do we have? Anything on carrots? No. Anything else about broccoli? Things we know about broccoli, that it didn't go with ham and didn't go with pork, so it could still be chicken or salmon. Okay. Oh. We have a pairing? No, we already had the pairing of steak and corn. And we already have this pairing of ham with peas. Don't mind me as I think. Oh my goodness, I missed stuff I could cross out. I don't know if that's a game changer, but we had a check mark for peas there. So that gets eliminated. If you see what I'm missing, shout it out. Somebody had chicken. Somebody had pork. Somebody had salmon. Are there any eliminations we can fill in? Beans. According to this row, beans have to go with pork or salmon. According to this row, beans have to go with chicken or pork. So the only way for that to work out is if beans go with pork. Okay. Gives us some eliminations. Oh, finishes off carrots for us. Carrots go with chicken. And here's carrots. All right, so carrots go with chicken. Are we... Oh, we're basically done. We can eliminate that column for chicken, that row for Tim, because we know what he had. This leaves only this one spot for Marilyn. The rest of that's gone. And we have all the check marks in for everything else. We have all of our pairings. Just double check what the question wants us to answer. Determine what main course and what veggie each family member had. So if you're listing them all out, there's Tim, who had chicken. What happened to my stylus here? Who had chicken and carrots. There's Marilyn, who had salmon and broccoli. Oh my goodness, of course I know how to spell. There's Heather, who had steak with, let's close this. Steak with corn. Does sound appetizing. Brittany had ham with whatever's checked off there, peas. And then Stephanie, who had pork and beans. And we did it. We solved the puzzle. You should give each other high fives. And then, I don't know what the instructions are from here. I'm just going to assume there's practice work involved. So I would say, it's maybe this stuff. But you've got all these things posted on Teams. So that's it for now. It's been most lovely. The end.